The Breakfast Club just got exposed by Tasha K for selling out to Netflix.
So I'm getting ready to do my interview, and they had all the iHeart employees in there, and they looked over at me and they said, Tasha. And I said, huh? They said, how you know about that Breakfast Club deal? I said, what you talking about? They said, you been on point. Now I know where I'm at. I'm at their employers' headquarters. So I said, well, what part you talking about? Can you hear me? Everything okay, Jasmine? You can hear the back. Okay, calm. Okay, I got on this velour in the springtime. Velour. Shout out to Melissa Lopez. So here's the thing. So y'all should be able to hear me now, clearly. So I said, well, what you talking about? They said, well, you know that we know what happened. I said, so what happened? They said, and I'm going to say allegedly, according to them, I'm not going to leak my source, but I was inside of iHeart. The pictures, I have the pictures. I was there for a few hours, okay? And so they basically said, you were right, Tasha, when you said that iHeart did not renew their contracts. I said, well, tell me more, even though I already knew that from some Black Effect podcasts because people that Charlamagne got signed. You know what I'm saying? And so I already knew that. I said, but tell me more. Because, he put out a whole press release calling me a liar. He said the whole reason for the Netflix deal was because iHeart refused to allocate money towards their show.
Now, this isn't even the worst part. Tasha K is also claiming the reason that the Breakfast Club went to Netflix is because iHeartRadio wouldn't pay the bill for them. Now, I didn't understand why iHeart wouldn't even pay the bill for them. The Breakfast Club might be the biggest show that they have. I personally, take a second, name another radio station at iHeart. And it's probably a plethora of them, but I'm pretty sure you couldn't name one. Now, creators like Flacco will tell you the reason that the Breakfast Club went to Netflix is because iHeartRadio, couldn't afford them anymore. Personally, I don't think they couldn't afford him. I don't think that iHeartRadio let them go because they couldn't afford them. We're moving into this digital age of streaming and YouTube, where the BET Hip Hop Awards have essentially closed because they're no longer on television anymore. And 9 times out of 10 are going to be moving to Netflix or Paramount. Or if they want to do their own thing, they'll move to Kick or Twitch and get a huge bag there. But if you want me to sit right here and let you tell me that the reason iHeartRadio did not re-sign the Breakfast Club is because they couldn't afford $500 million for a radio show, you're out of your mind. They probably not even worth 300 million. If you do the numbers on YouTube, because it's easy numbers, they get paid per 1,000. And the average watch time is how much you get paid per that 1,000. So you guys can do the math. If they are supposedly worth $500 million and they are raking in, and I looked this up earlier, approximately 27, this was before the Netflix deal, 27 million views a month averaging. And they do about 2 hours. Let's say people watch half that. So they're getting about $60 per 1,000 views. That's not even 200 million. Now it's not even 100 million. For them to be getting 500 million makes 0 sense.
I said, all this money they got up in here, they couldn't find a couple dollars? They said no. So this whole bid that they did with Netflix, and when you go to Netflix, you got to search for them. You got to go down like this. You got to type it in. By the time you get there, you uninterested. You done found something else you want to watch. You know what I'm saying? They behind all of the podcasts. Like I said, it was only 5 podcasts that went from iHeart to Netflix as a part of their all-inclusive deal, which means they don't even have say-so. And I know this for a fact. They don't even have say-so on the guests that sit on their platform. Before they could gatekeep and say, oh, you get to sit with me, I get to sit with you, they have to get written permission from Netflix to invite anybody to their show right now. Whereas before, they could say, hey, come sit down. And that's why you didn't see a lot of people that you probably wanted to see on that platform. A, they didn't want to talk to them, and they didn't fuck with them like that. Or 2, they was gatekeeping because at the time, they had the hottest platform out here.
So personally, I feel like they made the wrong move. The Breakfast Club made the wrong move. They made the wrong move because now you lose creative control. If you go and look at their YouTube, just go and scroll on their YouTube channel, bro. They're not getting any views from the clips that they post. They only could post 3 to 5 minute clips. If you go to Netflix, you can't find them anywhere. There isn't a podcast section. You have to scroll all the way to the bottom and maybe find them, or physically type in their name. Netflix is for movies and television shows. So the first thing you're going to see is movies and TV shows. They're not going to be pushing The Breakfast Club as the first thing that you need to watch when you come to Netflix. Then you can't even comment on the videos. So now they lose the whole interaction and connection with their audience.
iHeart wouldn't allocate funds to them, which means they didn't extend the contract. Now they have license rights to the audio of the show, but they have literally given Netflix full control over this entire concept. They don't even have control over their concept, because we told you last week, 2 weeks ago, that Jess Hilarious doesn't even have the IP rights to her Just with the Mess. The thing that got her on. She can't even post that on her Instagram without their permission. She just signed over her little rights per Charlemagne, because iHeart, from what I'm being told, okay, by iHeart executives, that they didn't want to pay him. And so in order to appease him, they said, well, Netflix approached us, you can go over here. And that's why at the end of every video that they got, they be like, go to Netflix. You watch Netflix. You always on Netflix. Download Netflix now. Go and watch The Breakfast Club. And it's usually some white woman that got sent down with glasses on that's speaking on flowers and shit that y'all don't know nothing about. But it's The Breakfast Club, remember? Maybe they're going to have a Chick-fil-A owner up on there next time, to kind of go away with the brand. But they don't have no rights. And so next time y'all want to try to come for my brand, you can't say nothing now, because Netflix don't even allow y'all to comment unless they tell y'all to comment. So they can't say nothing. Jasmine, ain't no clap back in that Tasha K. Ain't no more calling me no crackhead. Sweaty, yeah, but crackhead. Ain't no more calling that. You can't even call your own show Just Hilarious. You can't even say Just with the Mess without written permission from your bosses that have no experience in the podcast industry.
It was the worst move ever for money. Let's say they did get the $500 million. Now you lose status in the culture. Now creators like myself, Flocko, DJ Academics, No Jumper, Joe Budden will continue to rise. So I don't know. It's a great move for me, but I think it's a horrible move for The Breakfast Club and what they have to add to the culture. But y'all let me know in the comments, man, how y'all feel about the entire situation. Did The Breakfast Club sell out, or was this a perfect move for everybody? Y'all let me know.